It is Friday, the 8th day of April 2022. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining me on the 6:30 p.m. edition of news on my media Prime Television. We're beaming live from Douala, the nation's economic capital. I am Fon Quinta. The news starts now. Cameroon's Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manawuda Malachi, today launched a nationwide cholera vaccination campaign. The campaign set to run from April 8 to April 12, 2022, targets at least 85% of the population in risk zones. Wanze Njoyoy with details.
A total of 842,100 doses of Avicol will be administered to 842,086 persons in the South, Littoral and Southwest regions, which are the most affected regions with cholera. Statistics from the Public Health Ministry shows that 4,627 cases have been reported since the epidemic began. For the Littoral region, this vaccine will be administered in Daido, Melon, Bonasama, Nilong, Boko, Bangé, and New Bell. For the Southwest region, it will be administered in Boya, Limbe, and Tiku, and in the South region, it will be administered in Kribi. Also, sensitization campaigns and measures will be carried out in markets, churches, and other public spaces by health workers. The cholera vaccine will be administered to persons aged 1 and above. According to Dr. Manawuda Malachi, this vaccine does not expose one to COVID-19, and Avicol is not an experimental vaccine. It should be noted that this vaccine is not suitable for pregnant women and lactating mothers, infants less than a year old, and persons with hypersensitivity for formaldehyde. The public is called upon to observe strict hygiene and sanitary measures in order not to be contaminated with this disease.
Another newly constructed HIV and AIDS treatment center at the Ngandere Regional Hospital has been officially inaugurated. The inauguration ceremony took place in the presence of the Regional Delegate of Health for the Adamawa region and the Director of Akeba, Cameroon. Catherine Ekongwe completes the story.
The official inauguration of a new building set aside for the treatment of HIV/AIDS patients at the regional hospital in Ngandere was championed by a non-governmental organization, which is out to provide technical support to HIV/AIDS treatment centers.
Provide technical support and logistic support in the HIV treatment centers that are found in the northern regions. We cover more than 85% of all people living with HIV that are found in these regions. So from testing right down to treatment and prevent support, viral load, care of adults, children, TB, HIV co-infection, quality improvement, support for human resources, provide all of that.
This innovation will permit to better handle routine activities and better oriented persons affected with HIV/AIDS. The renovation that takes at least 4,000 persons was made possible thanks to the partnership between the state and the American non-governmental organization, Akeba. The building constitutes a room to welcome patients for confidential talks and toilets well equipped.
Before the rehabilitation, the condition of work of our patient was not too good. It was not well. Toilet was not well done. There was no table for the office, and then the cupboard for stay, the fight for patient were not there, and then all the building were not clean. And then now, after renovation of this building, we have the clean environment. We have the material for work, and then it is under the condition of the workers and for the patients.
This center welcomes at least 1,500 people yearly for HIV tests and has equally played a major role in the fight for other major sickness other than HIV/AIDS.
Councilors of the Bamenda 1 Council have adopted over 519 million as budget for the Bamenda 1 Council. This was during the Administrative Management and Stores Account session for the Council, chaired by Mayor Biga Felix. Charles Akeba completes the story from Bamenda.
Councilors of the Bamenda 1 Council in Mezam Division of the Northwest in an account report session April 7, 2022 at the Bamenda 1 Council Hall examine and adopt the 2021 Administrative Management Account and Stores. The session chaired by the Mayor of Bamenda 1 Council, Mayor Biga Felix, in the presence of the Supervisory Authority, Mezam SDO Simon Mo Emil, Bamenda 1 Councilors adopt 519,372,332 francs in revenue and 472,588,521 francs in expenditure, with a total surplus of 46,783,811 francs.
Administrative and management account, which has gone up to 519 million this year, and I think next year we'll work harder. I want to also thank the population for cooperating with the council, trying to see that we cooperate together to realize some of this project, having contributing. And I still want to seize the opportunity to beg of them for those who are supposed to contribute to the council, like doing their normal duty, paying their taxes, so we can use those taxes to develop the community.
Mayor Biganja Felix, Mayor of Bamenda 1 Council, regret a drop in the account as compared to previous years, said, though the present socio-political crisis has also contributed, with the council's ability to generate revenue, the population is very recalcitrant in paying its taxes. Thanking government for projects from the state credit, the mayor disclosed the Bamenda 1 Council realized most of its projects last year, and this year will engage in providing water, build bridges, open up roads, and light up streets with solar.
Listening to our cry and sponsoring most of our projects. I think I can proudly say we realized so many projects last year, especially like classrooms. We have bridges, we have schools, hospitals, and the rest that we were able to build in our community. Why not extending electricity in some of the remote areas that we didn't have electricity?
The Bamenda 1 Council, in collaboration with the UNDP, at the council session handed free birth certificates and ID cards to some IDPs.
The Southwest region despite claims that Lower Mayview village is a no-go area due to insecurity. The divisional officer for Limbe 1 subdivision, Innocent Money, braved or ought to visit the community as part of his Meet the People tour. Kuma Onoway accompanied the divisional officer. Now reports.
Welcoming the divisional officer for Limbe 1 subdivision, the traditional ruler of Lower Mayview Chiefdom, His Royal Highness Chief Henry Ndip Foundation, called on the divisional officer to put an end to the several land disputes plaguing the Mayview Chiefdom. Going by Chief Henry Ndip Foundation, the challenge of the Mayview people today could be described as witchcraft in the broad daylight, as a group of impostors have been trespassing the village with bamboo pillars and military weapons, intimidating farmers, measuring and allocating portions of lands to potential clients, threatening to eliminate farmers if they dare to tamper with their illegal planted pillars. Chief Henry Ndip Foundation pleaded with the administration of Ako to wade into this crisis and put an end to this quagmire, which may escalate to something else if not properly handled. He revealed that there are already close to 10 judicial matters, both in the Fako High Court and the Limbe Court of First Instance, related to the said encroachment and territorial conflicts propagated by non-native farmers. The chief added that the Lower Mayview people are peace-loving and responsible Cameroonians, both in Cameroon and the diaspora, but will not succumb to such acts of encroachment on their ancestral territory. Chief Henry Ndip, however, regretted the fact that the All-African Christian University Institute, worth 1.3 billion francs CFA structure, which is already at a 25% construction realization rate, has been put on a hold due to the so-called Anglophone crisis. He added that the Mayview Village Community Hall, which is a 35 million francs project, is still at 8% realization rate due to the socio-political crisis that started in 2016. He used this medium to request for support from the Limbe 1 Council to complete this project, which will enable farmers to have stores to harbor harvested food crops, awaiting traders from other towns to buy farm produce from Mayview, Mimbenge.
You know that the contractor of the zero is a time when the people...
On his part, the divisional officer for Limbe 1 subdivision, Moni Innocent Nanje, urged the population of Mayview to educate their children to leave the bushes and come back home to develop the village. He stressed on the fact that due to the ongoing socio-political crisis, the population has been plagued with economic hardship and insecurity. The duo, accompanied by the sub-delegate for agriculture and rural development for Limbe 1, joined her voice to that of other speakers to call on the population to come back to the village and cultivate the vast volcanic soil rich in agriculture.
And of course, Cameroon, the state of Cameroon, and the government is very well structured. When we come like this, we don't make empty promises. In short, I cannot make a promise. I told them that I will touch the service.
The farmers, led by the president of the Farmers Union, pleaded with the duo to assist them in the grading and resurfacing of their farm-to-market roads to ease the transportation of farm produce to and through the market. Lower Mayview village is a village that had suffered rural exodus around the 1930s due to the developmental encroachment by the then West African plantation known today as the Cameroon Development Corporation. The villagers were first transferred from today's Moliwe plantation to the Mayview Chop Farm and later pushed from Mayview Chop Farm to the Mayview Native Forest across the Mayview River. Since the reinstitution of the chiefdom in 2007, the bond of contempt has been, amongst other issues, the difficulty to regain the territorial rights from some over 500 known native farmers who have been cultivating food crops on Mayview soil for decades.
Still ahead, a workshop on the evaluation of the 2020-2021 statistical yearbook and analyze a report of the Ministry of Basic Education has been held in Yaoundé. Minister Laurent Serge Etundingwa congratulated all stakeholders who made sure the vital documents were put in place. Central Regional Correspondent Colette Lum with details.
2020-2021 statistical yearbook and its analysis report are the main results of the Ministry of Basic Education school mapping. Update operations have been the focal point in a workshop in Yaoundé, presided over by the Minister of Basic Education, Laurent Serge Etundingwa, for the 2020-2021 school year, where he congratulated all stakeholders who made sure the vital documents were put in place. The school operations, according to Basic Education Minister, mobilized the administrative technical stock of the central services as well as staff of the production chain of the school map data of the divisional and regional delegations as well as the subdivisional inspectorates of this ministry. Worth noting, the school map in the Basic Education Ministry is an important tool which provides specific data of current and future schooling needs at all levels. It helps the state to efficiently allocate resources earmarked for educational and training based on economical, social and cultural needs in order to address inequality in terms of infrastructure, equipment, recruitment and migrations of students and technical staff. Dr. Ashiri Kilo expatiates on these reports.
It is a very crucial document for us because it sets for us all the instances of basic education. It sets for us and gives us numbers of our schools, our teachers, pre-nursery, primary, as well as a number of teachers. You also know that statistics are dynamic, so we have to do this every year. And even when the statistics have been collected, we have to do an evaluation and analytical report of these statistics. And so every year when we find something new, we have to discuss it and see how we improve it for the next year. For this particular edition, the novelty is the decision-making approach that they found, which is in Chapter 5 of the analytical book. And so that is what we'll be dwelling upon this afternoon to ensure that when we do the statistical reports for 2021-2022, that will also be included and even improved upon.
The official presentation and validation of both documents is in line with government's orientation in Cameroon, which consists in putting in place data collection systems that guide educational policies through coherent planning alliance with clearly defined objectives.
On today's Success Story, Ndip projects the works of a team of youngsters based in Buea who are making great strides in ending some of Cameroon's agricultural challenges. Specialized in the field of industrial and technical agriculture, the efforts of these young people has earned them support worth 1 million from Cameroon's Commissioner for SMAC, His Excellency Shea Jones. Ndip with details.
Homemade products over foreign importation is on the peak. Many a few Cameroonians are upbeat in changing the narratives. This is Akuhmbom Pedro, the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Noble Farms, Buea, Southwest Region, whose success story in the field of industrial and technological agriculture has caught the attention of the media. Projected on social media by one of Cameroon's most versatile entrepreneurs, Dr. Nick Nguyen, Pedro's resilience to be defeated by mediocrity has earned him a technological and equipment purchase order worth 1 million francs CFA by His Excellency Shea Jones, Cameroon's Commissioner for SMAC, in a bid to support the young entrepreneur. While representing the donor, Dr. Nick now lets the cat out of the box.
I was here 2 days ago, and we took some pictures with a lot of the chicks that you hatched, and I put them on social media. So when we put down that information, there were a lot of reactions, as we saw a lot of congratulating messages. And one of my brothers, His Excellency Shea Jones, is the Commissioner for SMAC, the Cameroon Commissioner for SMAC. I mean, he was so excited, and then he made a deposit in a Kenkayori, that is a building material shop, to the tune of 1 million francs, so that you can collect whatever you want to jumpstart your poultry farm.
Overwhelmed with joy, Pedro, alongside his mom and close collaborators, are short of words for appreciation.
It's something we've never thought would happen to us. We want to say a very big thank you to him, and we are grateful. And we want to say we will not let him down, and we will not let Cameroon down, we will not let our fellow youths down. We are going to continue. This is just one of our innovations that's in our heads. We are going to bring forth more and more and more. That will solve a lot of agricultural problems, and it's going to create a lot of jobs for our brothers and sisters in Cameroon.
I lack words. The only God knows. So thank you very much. I'm so grateful.
As a young and dynamic team with the aim of addressing agricultural problems in Cameroon, these youths are bent in making this dream come true in no distant time, as everyone is called to be duty conscious always.
Over 100 Cameroonians gathered at the Dukai Branly Jacques Chirac Museum in Paris, France, to participate at the first cultural exhibition of Cameroon arts and culture. Under the theme On the Road to Chiefdom from Visible to Invisible, the initiative comes as a means to promote Cameroonian culture in the diaspora. Ngaket with details.
Portraying the cultural diversity hailing from the four parts of Cameroon is the spirit behind the first exhibition of culture held at Dukai Branly Jacques Chirac Museum, organized by the association Sur la Route des Chaufferies du Cameroun last Tuesday. In the course of preserving and promoting our cultural values, over 40 chiefs are expected to visit the museum and showcase their know-how in the days ahead.
Pendant 4 mois, une centaine de chefs traditionnels vont se déplacer à Paris pour participer aux différentes activités ici au musée du Dukai Branly Jacques Chirac.
4 months from now, a good number of traditional chiefs will come to Paris to participate to activities at the museum, notably at the parade and at the night of chiefdoms. We need your help to make these come to life, and it will contribute in connecting the country to its diaspora. For a man without culture is nothing.
Sans culture ressemble à un zèbre.
The event was reached by the layout of cultural marks, painting and other cultural emblems, and was highly welcomed by members of the diaspora.
Une bonne chose déjà qu'au niveau de la diaspora, chez les Blancs, s'il faut dire comme ça, La transition est bel et bien représentée.
It is a good thing that at the level of the diaspora, our culture is being displayed. I can now wear my cultural attributes and attires without being scared. I am very happy that it has been deported abroad. As regards the traditional objects, I have seen them. I appreciate them, though it is said they will return to Cameroon.
Qui vont certainement y retourner selon ce qu'on me dit. Oui, on a été reçu par l'ambassadeur du Cameroun.
Celebrated on the theme Road to Chiefdom from the Visible to the Invisible, the event was led by Sylvain Jacques-Zephyr and saw the presence of many dignitaries like the French Minister of Culture, Cameroon's Ambassador for France, and French Ambassador in Cameroon.
Chiefs of the Muyakot area and Boya subdivision, southwest region of Cameroon, recently held a crisis meeting to deliberate the way forward for the betterment of villages, as some of them abandoned these villages for fear of the unknown. Moki Regan visited some villages and now reports.
And this is how some of the palace looks like, abandoned.
Per the custom and tradition of a Mokweman, traditional rulers are not expected to be out of their palaces for too long, but the insecurity nature caused by the Anglophone crisis, some of the villages in Munyakot area of Boya subdivision, southwest region, is witnessing the loss of cultural value as traditional stool abandoned.
These are some of the traditional stools owned by these traditional rulers, which have been abandoned. Before now, somewhere here in the palace used to be the secret house which the Bakriman called the Ndambanjo. It's nowhere to be found. It has been destroyed. An indication that the culture and custom of the people of this land is missing.
And their chiefdom colonized by unidentified gunmen and palaces abandoned for fear of the unknown, which these palaces used to serve as place of solution to the different problems faced by villagers.
Behind me is the palace of Wokaka, owned by His Royal Highness Chief Joke Jumbe Johnson, which has been abandoned. And over there, a few meters from this palace, is the palace of Chief Jem Mandengi of the neighboring village, who is also nowhere to be found. The culture and tradition of the people is absent.
Driving across the villages, seeing the reality on the ground, we met this young man by chance in Mamo village, vomiting, an indication that he is sick. But the nearby health center is not fully operational because of the insecurity nature of the area. It's against this backdrop that traditional rulers of Munyakot area summoned a crisis meeting to deliberate the way forward in bringing all elites together for the betterment of their area, said the president.
The meeting of today was to ensure that certain things that are going wrong in our area should be put into order. We've talked on how to bring our elites together so that we can work as a body.
The 3 hours 18 minutes 42 seconds meeting was chaired by the president of the court area, Chief Ikomi Philip, who called on those in the bushes to come out and rehabilitate themselves in the rehabilitation center.
Our brothers who are still in the forest, that we are really pleading with them to lay down their arms and join the centers that have been created by the administration for their safety.
It should be noted that the Munyakot area has greatly been affected by the crisis, as the chiefs count on the collaboration of the administration for security.
Moki Regan reports Indiana preparations have intensified ahead of the premiere of the movie titled Bamboozla tomorrow in Douala, produced by Cameroonian philanthropist Dr. Belinda Babila and directed by Nigerian superstar Chidi Mokeme. The movie project is aimed at raising funds for the construction of a training center for internally displaced persons in Douala. Join Gong completes the story.
The Cameroonian movie industry is set to welcome a new blockbuster movie titled Bamboozla.
a movie which focuses on a woman whose quest for love leads her into the dark, mysterious world of a serial womanizer and that of a demented maniac and serial killer. During a press conference which followed the team's arrival into the country yesterday, the producer, Dr. Belinda Babila, revealed that the movie is aimed at raising funds for the construction of an IDP training center in Mabanda, Bonaberi.
We realized that everybody is in Netflix and we had doing no cut-offs because COVID devastated the economy, so we had to sit back and re-strategize and recalibrate, and we saw that everybody was glued to their Netflix TV stations. So we said we would decide to do entertainment, we'll do movies as well, with cause to continue to foster our urban international. So that's how movies came to it is a trick story, and that's what the global perspective of Bamboozla is. The character in there falls in love with a serial trick story. We will explore more of that April 9th.
Bamboozla equally stars Nollywood sensation Chidi Mukeme, who doubles as the director of the movie.
The movie Bamboozla, like you already know, is executive produced by Dr. Belinda Babila. You all already know her. She does a lot of humanitarian work through her foundation, the Belinda Babila Foundation. And this movie is a continuation of that project. So as part of our conversations, she was exploring ways in which she can raise funds for the humanitarian work that she has been doing over the years to be able to continue the work. And we thought about movies as part of a fundraising initiative. So that's why this has been called a movie for a cause from the beginning. So we have labeled it a movie for a cause. It's the first of many projects that she has lined up.
Bamboozla Global Tour begins tomorrow with a premiere at La Falaise Diamond Hotel in Bonanjo, Douala. Tickets have been made available and affordable for every Cameroonian for as low as 5,000 francs CFA. The tour continues in Yaoundé on April 16th, 2022, after which the movie will be made available on all streaming platforms.
And the regional finals of FENASCO B games took place in Gandira, Adamawa region of Cameroon earlier this week. The young athletes showed firm determination to make the voice of the Adamawa region heard at the national finals in Yaoundé. Catherine Kongwe with details.
The opening ceremony of the FENASCO Games in Adamawa was an opportunity for the head of basic education schools to come together with the supervisors of various disciplines to cultivate a spirit of sports, perseverance, fair play, performance and efficiency amongst athletes.
Et remercie Dieu qui nous a fait, on a remporté cette coupe.
Remercions les participants, nous remercions les gens qui ont assisté.
According to the regional delegate of basic education for Adamawa region, Komo Esai, who took part in this competition, saw athletes putting in their best to win the games, which is hope for a better tomorrow.
Nous sommes satisfaits de ce que nous avons vu les enfants engagés, qui ont joué avec l'esprit du fair play.
We are very satisfied with the performance of the children who demonstrated a spirit of fair play, and this brings us to conclusion that our youth are still very committed to contributing to nation building. Today, the Adamawa region has its representative who will go out and compete with those of the 9 other regions in the finals of National FENASCO Games, which will take place in Yaoundé. We want to seize this opportunity to congratulate all stakeholders who deployed their best to see that this competition ends up a total success.
Réussite de cette finale régionale des Jeux FENASCO Ligue B édition 2022 dans notre région.
The qualified athletes from the regional games received blessings and honors from the entire inhabitants present, beginning from the Secretary General in charge of services at the Governor's Office, Obama Beloa Christian, as all eyes are now directed towards the finals which will be held in Yaoundé.
We've come to the end of the April 8th edition of Prime News on My Media, Prime Television. Coming up immediately after the news is Prime Hour with Kum Leonard and his team. My name is Fon Queen. Have a blessed weekend in the company of more programs on the African iBuy.